Hi YouTube, this is Brendan with Cusack Prep, and this is another video on volume word problems as they might appear on the SAT. So one type of question the SAT really likes to ask you are questions involving you to compare volume of two different volumetric containers. So one type of question will ask you to figure out how much more volume is held in one container than another. And another type of question is going to ask you how many containers are needed to fill another container, or perhaps, as we'll see down here, how many servings of punch can be made from a certain bowl given a certain cup size. So without any delay, let's get started. So how much more water can a cylinder with a height of 10 and a radius of 5 hold than a rectangular prism with a length of 3, a height of 4, and a width of 5? So I'm going to go ahead over here and just write down the equations. Remember, you can find these at the beginning of any math section. So we'll have volume is equal to pi r squared h. That's for the cylinder. And we'll have volume is equal to length times width times height, and that's for the rectangular prism. Now, if we have the case of a cylinder, volume is going to equal pi times r squared times h. And if we go ahead and we simplify this out, 5 squared is 25, times 10 is 250. So the volume of our cylinder would be 250 pi. The volume of our rectangular prism would be length times width times height. So that's going to be 5 times 4 is 20, times 3 is going to give me 60. Now really I should have put units on these. It should say inches or meters or centimeters or something like that. But since there are no dimensions, we're just going to go with it. And since it's asking how much more a cylinder can hold than a rectangular prism, we're just going to be taking the difference of these two numbers. So your answer would be 250 pi minus 60. And that would be how much more can be held in the cylinder than in the rectangular prism. Not too bad, right? Just comparing one to the other. Now, if we take a look at this next question, this can trip students up a little bit more. So here we have Kenny, and Kenny wants to fill a bowl in the shape of a hemisphere with fruit punch. So just imagine this is your typical punch bowl, something that can be found in a kitchen that you might see at a school dance or prom. And in this case, this particular bowl has a radius of 9 inches. So that's a fairly big bowl, probably hold a lot of punch. And each cup that we're using to serve our guests has a height of 3 inches. It should say inches. Fix that really quick. And a radius of 3 inches. How many cups of punch can Kenny serve? That's not good grammar. Can Kenny serve to guests at, we should say, his party? All right, that looks better. So what we can do for this is we first have to figure out the volume of the punch bowl. So again, the equations are given, and the equation is 4/3 pi r cubed. So if we were to write that out, that would be, in this case, 4/3 times pi times 9 to the third power. Now, 9 to the third power is 729. And 4/3 times 729, I'm going to calculate that really quick. So that's 9 times 9 times 9, 729 divided by 3 times 4 is going to be 972 pi. And since it's volume, that's going to be cubic inches. So that's how many cubic inches of punch are in the bowl. Now, if each cup, so we're going to figure out the volume of each cup, would be pi r squared h. So pi r squared is going to be 3 squared, h is going to be 3. So this is going to be 27 pi cubic inches. Now, what I don't want to do here, and the most common mistake that can be made, is you try to take the difference between these two numbers. But that's not really what's happening here, because we're not asking how many more can one hold than the other, but we're essentially saying how many times am I going to have to scoop the smaller cup into the punch, and how many different cups can come out of it. So when you have a case like that, when you're filling something with something else, That's really going to be a division problem. Because if we do 1 cup, it's 27 pi cubic inches. 2 cups would be 57 pi cubic inches. 3 cups would be 81 pi cubic inches. And we're just trying to figure out how many times we have to do that. So what I could do is I could figure out the number of cups by doing the larger volume divided by the smaller volume. So this would be 972 pi divided by 27 pi. We can see the pi's cancel out. And then really quickly over here, I'm just going to go ahead and calculate that. And we find that it's going to be 36. So Kenny can serve about 36 cups of punch at his event. Okay, so that's pretty much it for volume word problems. I think that's all I'm going to cover at this point. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any comments, notice any mistakes or anything like that, feel free to make comments down below. Thanks.